Mock technical practice, right? Starting off. So, one of these questions was one I used to actually ask during interviews. When is a time you wouldn't recommend React? Um, so this is an actual real one from the wild. But anyway, let's start off. What is React? What do you think, Lin J? What is React?
React is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces, particularly single page applications that efficiently update and render components in response to data changes.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, perfect answer. Uh, so little bonus question for you though. What does React do for us developers? Like why do we use it? Why does it make our lives easier?
You're asking me or
Yep.
anyone
Yeah.
else? Oh, well, from what I learned, React is the base where it's the client side uh, version to be able to do things, I guess, locally versus where if you had a framework like Next.JS, it would be server side. So it has like differences of not manipulating or anything. It's just creating websites that are not as I guess dynamic, I guess you would say.
Okay. Let's add to that though. What's the advantage of using React versus just using vanilla JavaScript, SEMC? Why should we reach to React in the first place?
So with React, it doesn't update all the information on the page, unlike DOM with JavaScript, so that it's more efficient, especially for really large applications. So React was created by Facebook, and obviously at the time they needed a very efficient way to update only the necessary items or user interface items. So that's why.
Yeah, so it auto updates the DOM for us in a very precise way. So think back to that big old render function, right? That we just called and it changed everything. Because it would be too much work to change just the little bit we needed to change. And that the complexity of that would just be impossible to think about. But React can think about it and does it for us. Yeah. Um, so speaking of React, what is a React component? It's always these simplest questions that are the hardest to answer. What do you think, Maureen? What is a React component?
A React component is React components are independent and reusable bits of code. We can reuse them.
Yeah, that's true. Um, I guess what data type is it fundamentally? What is a React component if in the language of JavaScript and data types? What do you think, Ritu? Is it a string? Is it an object, an array?
Object, an
What?
object.
It's a function,
Okay.
but it's a special function. What makes it a React component? It's a function that returns what?
Is it still me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It returns data.
That's true. Um, but it returns JSX or another React component. That's what makes it a React component and not just another function. So here's the interesting. We've talked about how good React is. So how could there ever be a situation when maybe you wouldn't recommend your friend to start his application with React? What might that situation be, Calypso?
If the user doesn't need to interact, it's like a static web page. You could use just HTML and JavaScript.
Yeah, with no static web page with no interactions like a blog,
Yeah.
React is overkill. Yeah, I might even say like what would be really impressive to the interviewer, like mention a time you were building an application and you thought React was not a good match. Like, oh, I was building this one JavaScript based game with a lot of timers, and I thought React didn't handle set intervals and set timeouts well. Yeah, that something like that would be very impressive to mention. Okay, what is state? What is state? Ketzer?
Space is the like it's what is it? Here two things it like two variable. The one is can be like change the data.
Data. Yep.
It can change or update the data.
Data that can change. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, data that can change, and when it changes, React does what?
React is update for it.
Re-renders the component, yeah, and updates the DOM for us. Yep. All right, what are props? Farhan?
Props are variables that are passed from parent to child that can be used by the child. And if it's state, for example, it would be dynamically changed throughout the app if it's changed by the child, for example.
Yeah, so this is our method for sharing info between components. Passing props. Yeah, that's parent to child. Okay, that was our quick little review. Let's go ahead and knock out feedback, please. Start stream. Oh, whoops.